Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is set to introduce many different revelations that will lead to saga-wide implications within this story by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film is not only going to change how we view both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, but also the entire Skywalker saga itself, as well as elements of Star Wars lore and the entire franchise. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the actual set leaks, this is where things begin to get very intense for Episode 9, involving the character of Luke Skywalker, portrayed by Mark Hamill once more in this film. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that it's explained that one of the scenes that were shot during the month of January of this year involved the sequence where Mark Hamill was on set over in Cardington, where he was placed in the cockpit of a sinking X-Wing on the world of Ahch-To during a terrifying thunderstorm that was emulated through rain, wind, and ice machines to create the perfect storm for Skywalker that causes him to crash into the ocean just near the sacred island of Ahch-To, creating a parallel of when Luke crashed due to the fog on Dagobah in Empire Strikes Back. It said that one of the sequences even featured a moment in which Mark Hamill was watching the X-Wing sink down to the bottom of the ocean, where he is said to use the Force to lift the X-Wing out from the water, where he is said to pause and use this moment to take advantage of abandoning himself on the island where Luke lets go, as he watches the X-Wing slowly sink down to the ocean floor near the island where Luke eventually walks away. It said to explain how Luke got stuck while at the same exact time intentionally abandoned himself on the island. During this sequence, it's said that a revised track of Yoda's theme will be used as Luke tries to lift the X-Wing, only for the music to suddenly stop once Luke drops it down into the water. So let's go over a couple of parts about this, because we do know that Episode 9 is going to really include many powerful flashback sequences just as this, and this fully explains as to exactly how Luke ended up crashing on the world of Ahch-To. Now, you would wonder, right, why would his X-Wing be below the ocean of course, Ahch-To? And now we're getting a full explanation and the full story as to exactly what happened to Luke when he first arrived on this world. So this is all said to take place during a major thunderstorm when Luke Skywalker is entering the atmosphere, which we can already see that in The Last Jedi, we've seen great examples of the actual thunderstorms and the rainstorms being used in that film, that is now going to reappear in a more terrifying way in Episode 9, which honestly I'm really looking forward to seeing this, because this is really going to redefine the moment in The Last Jedi where Luke Skywalker says, "I came to this island to die," where now it seems like it's being more set up as an accident, at the same exact time though, where Luke also does indeed intentionally abandon himself on this island. What I love so much about this is that it's explained that a revised track of Yoda's theme is said to be placed over this sequence, where as it plays, Luke is lifting the X-Wing, and as it stops, Luke lets go by use of the Force and lets it sink down into the ocean. Very emotional, very powerful sequence, I gotta say, and I really gotta hand it to JJ, because this also lines directly up with the leaked photograph that we saw a couple of months ago. I don't know if you guys remember seeing this. A lot of people were talking about it, where we got to see a actual X-Wing that once belonged to Luke in the original trilogy being wheeled out from one of the hangars. I believe it was in Cardington or Pinewood. Very interesting, and now you can see where all this is starting to connect to and how everything is starting to link up with each other for Episode 9's second act of the film, which is going to feature a lot of flashbacks, especially for the character of Luke Skywalker in Episode 9. So on top of all of this, we do know that this film is really going to offer many different sequences that we have never seen before in the Skywalker saga. This actually serves as a moment in between Episodes 6 and 7. We're still not quite sure exactly how many years Luke Skywalker spent on Ahch-To. It could have been 3, it could have been 2, for all we know. We're still not quite sure about all of that. I know a common misconception is that he's been on the island for 30 plus years, which is not, the actual case. It's actually just a couple of years. We're not quite sure about the exact number though. So on top of all of this, the last thing that I do want to go over is how The X-Wing itself was said to be used as a moment in which Mark Hamill was placed inside the cockpit during one of the scenes, where he actually has to bust his way through, you know, pretty much breaking the window and opening up the cockpit to get out before it sinks down to the ocean floor, and that's where Luke eventually does his thing, and he watches it sink below the ocean after trying to lift it out and changes his mind. I personally love this because it kind of shows us the evolution of Luke, you know, changing from being the hopeful Jedi that we all know and love to becoming the Jedi that pretty much lost his way. And I think what they're trying to do here is that they're really trying to show us exactly and visually how he got stuck on this island and how he also intentionally abandoned himself. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.